Khan. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rechak. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, great millstone, and salutes and honor to you brothers out there preaching his word, serious truth. All right, came across this article. Want to do a lesson on it, short lesson, but it's entitled "Kevin Hart's Comedy Tour Stopped in Cairo, Canceled Amid Backlash Over Afrocentric Comments." Okay, we must teach our children the true history of black Africans when they were kings in Egypt, and not just the era of slavery that is cemented by education in America. Do you remember the time when we were kings? Hart allegedly stated. Kevin Hart's scheduled show in Cairo, Egypt, was reportedly canceled this week following the comedian's alleged controversial statements claiming ancient Egyptian kings were black. Egyptian management group R Productions released a statement on Monday saying the local logistical issues forced them to call off what would have been Ben's Hart debut event in the country per Middle East Eye. Okay. Now, I mean, he's a little bit right about that, because the ancient Egyptians were so-called black people, but we Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, were under captivity. It was basically a dark nation having slaves of another dark nation. Okay, so a dark nation taking over a dark nation of people. Okay, so the ancient Egyptians would be them people down like in they were pushed down like in Sudan, you know, the Sudanese, those are the Hamites. Okay, they come from the lineage of Ham, one of the sons of Noah. Okay, the Israelites, you know, come out of the line of Shem. Okay, another son, which is the chosen line of that's where the chosen line is, come out of Shem, which is another son of Noah. Okay, because Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So those Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, they came out of the line of Ham. Okay, and the Israelites were enslaved under those ancient Egyptians that came out of the line of Ham. Okay, we come out of the line of Shem, which are the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. So it's basically another dark nation taking over another dark nation. Okay, but you know, it was Israelites that were rose up in very, very high positions in ancient Egypt. For example, Joseph. Okay, Joseph was second in command under the Pharaoh. Okay, so I mean, it's a lot of understanding that I don't have, you know, but you can see the Lord is basically, you know, putting you know, a spirit in these these Israelite men in the entertainment field to, you know, bring out some truth. You know, they don't have the 100% truth. You know, they don't have the 100% truth in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's left up to the prophets. Okay, but the Lord is putting that spirit out there on, you know, the Israelite men to, look back into, you know, their history of, you know, where they came from. All right. So, said we must teach our children the true history of black Africans. Well, ain't nobody black. You just dark brown, you know, because everyone comes out the earth. Okay, Esau, you know, he had his pigment taken away. Okay, but there ain't nobody black. You know, if you look up the word black, means void of light. There's very negative connotations on the definition of the word black. You know, Africans go back to the so-called white man. You know, Leo Scipios Africanus, basically Roman general that took over them lands and named it Africa. And that word Africa means not cold. Okay. Egypt basically means double straits of bondage. Bondage for who? The Israelites. Okay. But, you know, Jake in America, they think they're Hamites. They think they, you know, all the pharaohs in Egypt, you know, they think they're Hamites, man, because that's what Esau taught them, man. You know, the Egyptology taught them, you know. But if you go, you know, do a like history search, like History Channel and stuff like that, and it goes back to, you know, the hieroglyphics and the paintings, you know, in Egypt, you can see is real tall, dark-skinned people, all right, enslaving another dark-skinned people, all right. And those are the Israelites that was being enslaved. Okay, but you know, the Lord only gave these Jake men and entertainment field a little bit of knowledge. All right, and this dude is catching heat, you know, because the people over there in Egypt right now, they're basically Ishmaelite. It was like a mix between Ishmael, you know, which also comes out of Shem, but there wasn't the chosen line for the promise and the covenants. Only Israel is. And you have like Edomites. You got a lot of Edomites out there too. You know, they kind of look like Ishmael, but they're Esau. Okay, and you got to understand you know, the time periods, because Esau took over Egypt at one time during the Greeks. That's where you got one of the generals, Ptolemy Soter, line of the Ptolemies. You had Cleopatra. She was an Edomite. Okay. She was from the family line of the Ptolemies. All right. So it's a lot of history, man. If you don't know the history, like Apostle Gabar said, you know the history. If you don't know the history, say you don't know the history, you're missing the mystery, something like that. The mystery is in the history, you know. So let me jump right to the scriptures here. Even them people in Egypt don't know that they're the ancient Egyptians. They think they're the ancient Egyptians. They're not. Okay. The ancient Egyptians were the people of the Sudan, and they wouldn't call themselves Egyptian. They was call themselves Matazarium. Okay. Mizraim. Because Mizraim is one of the sons of Ham. Okay. So you know, when you read the scriptures, lineage is very important to understand. You know, that's why you got the Book of Chronicles, chronological orders of lineage. Genesis 10th chapter, and Genesis 10, 11, yep. Exodus 11 and 7, but against any of the children of Israel, dark-skinned people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, brown people, okay, shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Okay. Let's see, look up Egyptian. The Hebrew word is Matazarium. Matazarium. Yeah, double straights. Okay, which Egypt is a Greek word, I believe. Okay, so that tells you the Greeks took over Egypt at one time, which were the Edomites, the Ptolemies. It's talking about the Hebrew women. I think that's one. Let's see. Well, let me read verse 8, Exodus 1 and 8. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Joseph was an Israelite, okay, a dark-skinned man, but rose up very high in the Egyptian rulership. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mightier than we. Okay, children of Israel, dark-skinned people. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, and lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they were falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, so get them up out of the land. Therefore did they set them over taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Okay, so the Israelites were under hardcore bondage, the double straights. So you're talking about the Hebrew women. Yeah, I'm going to jump down to 19. And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women. Okay, Hebrew comes from the Hebrew word. The word Hebrew comes from the Hebrew word Ibar. Okay, means from the past. Ibar from the past. And Eber was the forefather of that line of the Israelites. Okay, that's where the pure language came through Eber, his line. Okay, Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women. Okay, so that tells you the Lord put a difference between the Hebrew Israelites, all right, and the Egyptians, which are Mizraim. Okay, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to get out of that one. So yeah, man, this guy's in hot water, man. He's gonna have to apologize. Even parts of what he said is the truth. It wasn't the full truth, but these people can't handle a little bit of truth. They go ape shit, So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Shalom.